Welcome to our weekly Forex market analysis, and this is for trading on the week of March 26th to 30th, 2018. Just a quick disclaimer before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. To start off with, we'll take a look at our Forex Factory calendar here. So coming up this week, we have FOMC members speaking. That generally tends to cause volatility in the market. And then we have consumer confidence numbers for the US, another FOMC member, the business confidence number for New Zealand. So that will have an impact on New Zealand dollar. On Wednesday, we have GDP numbers for the US, which will be very important. And then we have crude oil inventories number, which will impact the US dollar as well as Canadian dollar. And further on Thursday, we have current account, which is like a trade balance number for UK and GDP number for Canada. We also have the consumer confidence numbers, revised consumer confidence numbers for the US, which will be important. So overall, though, we don't have a lot of very important data. So a lot of volatility was in the market last week with multiple central bankers or central bank announcements. This week, we don't have as much in the week. So that's for our calendar. So let's go take a look at our charts now. So for the Euro US dollar weekly chart, here we see that the Euro has been trading in this range. So if we take a look at the outside range is from 1.2538 to 121.50 level. And this one is where the price has been trading. Then we have a smaller inside range within that, and price has been bouncing around. So Euro US dollar doesn't really have a direction. Right now it is range bound, so we're going to trade it as a range bound. Right now we have seen the price has been dropping a bit. We do have a bullish candle close for the week, which means it can go higher. So I would look for a price to go higher into 124.50 level, and once it gets here, I would look for a price to drop. But overall, we have seen this lower highs, which means price could move even lower. So I would be mindful of that, because even though price has pushed up from this internal range here, we are overall still looking at this slight downtrend. So that's Euro US dollar, looking at a range bound market and looking to sell at 124.50. So I'm looking for price to move up higher, go into the top of this closer range, and then a drop from there. So overall, the bias is bullish till 124.50. And from there, I would be looking for signs of reversal. Pound US dollar, this one has had a nice bullish close. We have seen the transition deal, the agreement with EU and UK over Brexit transition. That has been positive for British pound. As a result, we have seen British pound go up. We have also seen some positive data out of UK, which is really helping the British pound as well, because now it puts pressure on Bank of England to raise rates potentially even in May. So that's something we'll have to see. But for now, the market is seeing this as positive, and mainly because there's pressure on Bank of England. The CPI numbers have been good. Overall data has been good. So this is why British pound is bullish right now. So based on this weekly candle close, we're looking for price to move up higher. I'm looking for price to go into this 143.40 range, which is back into this high here. So bias is to the upside for pound US dollar. Aussie dollar, here we see a bearish candle close. This is our bearish pin bar, and as such, I will be looking for price to drop. However, we could see a pullback into the 77.60 level, into resistance at 77.60. So I will look for price to move up and then drop from 77.60. Overall, the bias is to the downside, and I'm looking for price to go towards 0.7620 level. So my bias is to the downside for Aussie dollar. New Zealand US dollar here, we see a bullish candle close here. Price has rejected the low and now we are pushing up higher. So with this one, I'm looking for price to go higher, but we have this downward trending line. So we could get into trouble when the price reaches this downtrend line. So I would be mindful of that. However, I am looking for price to push up high here. And once it gets on the other side of the trend line, looking for a target of 73.50. So looking for price to go up higher for New Zealand US dollar. Dollar CAD has had a bearish candle close here, looking for price to drop further. First target would be 1.2800 level, and then looking for price to drop further from there. The next target is 1.2700. So bias is to the downside for dollar CAD. Euro Swiss franc here, prices been trading in this range. So looking for a range to hold here for now, and just looking for looking to trade the range. So better to look on the daily chart here. It's just going sideways. It's not really going anywhere fast. So I'm looking for price to go up here. We have seen rejection from the bottom of the range. So looking for price to go into 1.1750 level and then see a potential reversal from there, and looking for drop from that level. So overall, this is just range bound, and I would just trade the range. If price goes into 1.1750 level, looking for a sell there. Price goes into the low of 1.1650, looking for a potential buy there. Pound Swiss franc, this is looking bullish. So last 3 weeks have been bullish with this one. Now we are into this previous resistance level. So I'm looking for price to go higher. With this one, first target would be 1.3480 level, which is the top of this range that price has been in. And once the price breaks to the other side and holds on the other side on the lower time frame, then I'm looking for price to move higher into 13700 level. But we do need to see a clear break of 1.3480 and for price to hold on the other side. But overall, the bias is to the upside. Dollar Swiss franc here, we have had a bearish close for the week, so I'm looking for price to drop. First target is 0.9420 and second target is 0.9320 level. So overall bias is to the downside. Pound yen here, overall the weekly candle close is looking a little bearish here. So even though we have a green candle close, we do have a large pin on top here, which suggests we could see the price drop. So in this case, I would look for a pullback back into 149.50, and that's where I would be looking for a potential reversal signal there. If we can see a rejection there and see the price drop. So with the yen crosses, it will be interesting to see what happens when we see the equity markets drop. So stock markets go down like we saw them go down last week. Yen is a safe haven currency. So right now we are seeing a lot of political issues in the US, and we are also seeing these trade wars now. So especially with China. So the markets are concerned. When the markets are concerned or investors become concerned, they tend to go into safe haven assets, which are Japanese yen from currency perspective or Swiss franc. So we'll have to keep an eye on this one here. US dollar is generally a safe haven currency. However, because the situation is around the US dollar, it's not going to act as a safe haven currency. So Japanese yen is the one we have to keep an eye on. If we see the equity markets drop, then Japanese yen is likely to strengthen, which means all the yen crosses are likely to go down. So I would keep an eye on the stock markets to see how they perform, because that will also dictate where the Japanese yen goes. So just a reminder to keep an eye from a risk perspective in the market. But overall, from technical perspective here, I'm looking for price to go into 149.50 and then look for a potential reversal signal there, targeting the low of 145.20 level. So the bias for pound yen would be to the downside. Euro yen, we have had a large pin bar here, so I'm looking for price to drop further and looking for a pullback into 130.20 level here, and then looking for a potential drop. It could pull back higher into 130.80 level as well. But my first place to look will be at 130.20 level and see if we see a reversal signal here. But overall, the bias is to the downside for euro yen. Dollar yen here, we have seen a big drop in dollar yen. So the FOMC was not quite bullish for US dollar, even though Fed raised the rates. However, the market did not see that quite as strong an interest rate hike as market was expecting. So the language there was not quite as strong. So it was a bearish rate hike. And as a result of that, we saw US dollar drop across the board. So as a result of this, we have this dollar yen, and yen has strengthened as well with the trade wars and other issues from that risk perspective. So with this one, we have a double whammy for dollar yen. US dollar is weak and yen is strong, which makes dollar yen drop even more. So as a result of that, of all the yen crosses, dollar yen at this point is looking the weakest one. With this one, I'm looking for price to drop further. The target here is a 103.50 level. And we could see a pullback, which we're seeing right now, into 105.20 level. And this one could go even higher into 105.60. So I will look for a pullback into 105.60. And I will look for a potential drop from 105.60. So overall bias is to the downside. Target is 103.50. But first, I'm looking for the price to push up and then give us a reversal signal. So that's it for today. You guys have a wonderful trading week, and I will see you next time.